We knew the kind of things we needed. We needed monsters to battle and fight. We knew we needed choices that a player could make about what they wanted to be in the world, that kind of thing. So a lot of the time was spent with those sort of broad directions and exploring what that could be within it. For a while, we weren't quite sure which direction we were going to take it, whether it was going to be fantasy or space western or hard sci-fi, or there was a lot of fun exploration we did there where we got to sort of try a lot of artwork that was in those different genres, which was super fun, and most of those ended up somehow in Destiny. One particular artist had a more classical style of painting, and I think when we were taking the way he was painting on top of the ideas that we had, it kind of mixed this historical kind of classic vibe with more sci-fi stuff. So I think that mixture, we started to realize, we could create this sort of historical or aged look with sci-fi stuff that felt new. Star Wars is a great inspiration. I mean, they built this entire world that people love to, explore and think about and watch movies about. And I think the feeling of there's this frontier that people, can explore and go have adventures in is, I think, the spirit we wanted to capture, absolutely. As far as other influences, somebody else asked me that before, and I think I said Thundarr the Barbarian. It's actually like one of the biggest influences. I don't know if you're familiar with Thundarr the Barbarian, but it's an 80s cartoon where it's a post-apocalyptic future. It's in New York City, and they call it Manhattan. A really fun show that combined a lot of fantasy and sci-fi elements together. Just the spirit of it, I think, was what was fun. And all of the episodes had really fun titles that, almost sounded like Dungeons and Dragons, titles of campaigns and stuff like that. That was some of the stuff we wanted to imbue into Destiny. Yeah, the mixture of guns and spaceships and, all these sort of real locations, but there's a giant monster hiding around the corner, or there's magic. Combining those two influences and then trying to find where it doesn't feel, there's a lot of sort of goofy ways that could come together. So I think out of trying to combine those and what felt right, kind of the art style naturally developed out of that, for sure. More than anything, the driving principle for the art direction is that we wanted it to be a fun place that players want to visit, the players want to be in. There's games that have a gritty sort of, dark environment or post-apocalyptic or things like that, but we like those ideas and those are fun, exploring ruins and that kind of stuff, but what's the fun version that people want to go back to over and over? Even the colors of the different places you go, you want it to be inviting and sort of pleasing, I guess. So golden grass and water and the foliage growing over, the old buildings, and, at the same time having that gravity of like, this is a lost place that obviously something, crazy happened in, but it's also beautiful at the same time. And I think that's the mix we definitely have been playing with and want to hit. Well, first of all, we want to fulfill kind of the fantasy of what people, not necessarily reality of Mars, because obviously that's not particularly fun running around a barren wasteland, but people think of red colors and sand, so we wanted to include that, but then to make it more fantastic, with giant, huge hills of sand and things buried in the sand and whatnot. And this is great property where the Traveler, having changed what those planets are like, we could play up what the fantasies of those places are. Venus being this hot, human place, so playing up the idea of it being a jungle and taking all the ruins from the past and sort of burying like all that stuff under either jungles on Venus or sand on Mars. Just exaggerating all those elements that are fun and for players to, run around and explore. One of the things I love about Destiny and the world we created is like, it's got lots of things in it that I love. So we wanted to make, a bunch of different combatant races or enemies that could fulfill different stuff we liked. Like we love the idea of like this sort of giant militaristic, space empire, which is the Cabal. And we like the idea of space pirate kind of looting, the Fallen. And so I love that we created a world that all of those things can happen in. One of the things that certainly love doing is creating the target, like creating the thing that just on an immediate reaction like looks cool and feels good and has the right elements, and then filling in the rest around that because you've got the the final result that works. Mm-hmm. Like everything else fills in to make that even better. I think one of the most fun things in the game for me is all the different kinds of armor and equipment you can pick up. It's always a tough balance, variety versus art direction. There was a time where artists wanted to make all the pieces of the outfit come together as one, so we could make sure it was coordinated and looked all good together. Obviously, we need to mix and match stuff, but that variety, sometimes when things don't match perfectly, it actually helps because it gives you the feeling that these warriors are going out into the solar system and finding these pieces of armor and sort of collecting them. So it gives you a little bit of that bounty hunter feel, I guess, which is kind of nice. We've got a lot of great leads that work on particular areas. So, there's the environment team who works on world design, and we've got the 3D artists who are working on the characters and the creatures, and it's broken up into those different categories. And we have really great people in all those teams. So it's crazy once in a while. It's a huge team. And,
like, how big is it?
Let me guess. It's somewhere 150. I don't know. Don't quote me at all on that. It's probably completely wrong. But just
over
the
100.
art team. Just the art team. Yeah, well, absolutely. There's a. We may be pushing that for environment artists at this point. It's such a huge world. Every day sort of brings a unique challenge. It's different. Sometimes I'm stuck in meetings for 6 hours. Once in a while I get to sketch still, so that's fun. It's always cool when I get to do that. But as we're nearing the end of the project, there's so many things to finish that we want to fix, and so it's kind of scrambling around trying to see what needs my attention the most and see what I can help with just on a day-to-day basis. Creating a place people want to exist in and go back to day after day is, I think, the biggest driving force.